Hey, how you guys doing? So this is Neil, the art instructor at masterpaintingnow.com and also best-selling author for my book, How to Draw Awesome Figures, which you can find on Amazon. Yeah, I'm sporting a kind of Beatles haircut. So, I haven't done this in a long time. Let's go ahead and do some traditional media, in this case, watercolors. All right, let's get started. Oh yeah, and been kind of getting in shape a little bit, trying to. Check it out. All right, let's get started.
So I got it blocking the major shapes. All right, so I'm gonna probably make her face around that big right there. Now what I like to do is you probably won't be able to see this. I'm gonna draw out a perfect circle. I'm gonna take that and divide it in half. I teach this in my art course, Discover the Secrets of Drawing Comics. Then I'm gonna just kind of divide that in half and then that in half, and that's like where my eyebrow line's gonna be, or my eye line's gonna be. My eyebrow line will be up here. Then my eyes are going to be an eye length apart. I'm just going to kind of put in the basic shape of eyes here for right now. And then the nose is going to fall right on the circle. I'm going to make it come a little above, make it have that nice triangle between all the relationship. A half eye to the edge of the head. Kind of put in the way the mouth's going to be. Comes down to the middle of the eye. Bottom lip, and then about the length from the bottom of that circle. Let's see, you're up to the eyes. So kind of measure that out. Kind of come down right here, and that's where the chin's going to be. A little bit above the mouth, I'm going to have the edge. And I like to draw lines coming straight down like this. Just imagine. You can also imagine them. And then I want my angle of my face to come a little bit to like that and like so. So there'll be a slight angle. All right, so for those that actually like to see the sketching process here, I just went ahead and sped up by 400%. That way you can actually see the sketch here. So yeah, pretty much that's it. First thing I do is I like to sketch out the actual main shapes, the big bulbous shapes. And I don't know if you're able to see that, but it was like kind of like Princess Leia type, just ovals on the side of the head, so I know that they would fit in because I'm giving this kind of wild hairstyle. I've done this similar character before in a tutorial, and I really liked the hairstyle, and so I wanted to revisit it with watercolors this time. I'm just using a regular color pencil actually from Walmart. Actually, everything I'm using in this entire video is from Walmart. The watercolor paper is from Walmart. It's right there from the craft section. The watercolors are from Walmart. Paintbrushes are from Walmart and everything. I'm actually pretty impressed for being such inexpensive stuff that it works pretty good. Now it's not like the cheap kid stuff. It is the brand is Daler and Rowney, so it's not too bad of a brand for watercolors. It's a good student brand, but it doesn't have any really good dark colors. Like the transparency doesn't build up very well, and you can see me struggling getting dark inner eyes. I had to resort to using color pencil. All right. All right, so now I got the sketch done, and now I'm going to start on the watercolors, which might have been fine, but I think this is the color I was after, and I don't think it was in the other set. They have more of the primary colors, which was unfortunate. Right, these colors I probably won't use, like I said. So first thing I want to do is I'm gonna start watering down because I want to get the blue is what I'm going for first with the hair and the drips, because I'm gonna have the hair be this blue color. And so I'm just gonna add just a little bit of blue right here. And you'd be surprised how wet you might want to get it, because you want it really light at first. And then I'm just going to kind of start putting it on here. Get all this wet first. And then I want to make sure it doesn't get too much into that white area. And then this will just represent some of the drips that I want to happen here. These ones might be pink, I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to put blue there first. These tendrils are going to be blue. Her hair is going to be blue. And the rest of hers is going to be like this fuchsia color. laying on really thin at first, and what I'm trying to be careful not to do is go inside that white area. And so I'm going to have to start using a bigger brush here in a second. This side of the face I want, just to remind myself, I want more blue on right there by the eyes. That's also going to bleed in. And so right now I'm starting the process of bleeding in the color for the hair here. And of course you don't all want just one color. Now, to make sure your brush is clean, I have a little thing of water over here. If you can put it on top of your thing like that, no more color comes out on top of your paper towel, then you know your brush is clean. Sometimes it takes a second to get a bigger brush clean. Right, that's probably it. I probably will be using that bigger brush anymore. The main brush I'll probably be using would be between these two here. I might try one of my white brushes, but these sizes here. This will allow me to really get the details I want in there. Now, if you don't want to wait for it to dry and you want to just hurry up and start on the next thing, then a good idea would be to start to use a blow dryer. Sorry, but I want to get this color right here now, and I actually want to start getting it to blend in to this other color here. So I'm going to kind of just drop it here and there. And I purposely want this wet on wet right now. I kind of want this bleeding effect to take place between these two blues right now. So that's why I chose to leave it wet for now and not blow dry yet. So I've gone, at first I was a little bit careless and got a little bit into where it's going to be white. That's okay because I want the edges blended anyway. But when I go in with more careful strokes, smaller strokes, that's when I'll make sure that I'm careful to leave that white. I'm going to take this color right here again. I want it thick right here. You can kind of get it super wet, and it'll just kind of bleed out here. Again, I'm going for kind of abstract comic book style here, so trying to bring that comic book style into the realm of, I guess, what they considered, real art or whatever. Make sure that color is out of my, because I want to use this new color here, the crimson. Just keep diluting it with water until you have a really, really thin, transparent amount. Kind of test it on the paper towel, make sure it's thin enough. It really doesn't, it really takes very, very little. I want it to be just very, almost not even visible at first. This will be the color of her lips. I'm trying very careful not to get too wet here. I have to dab this in here just a little bit. Starting very light at first. I'm trying to go around the colors right there. And I'm going to kind of blend that in right here. I want the very edge of her face right here in shadow. I want the underside of her nose in shadow. So all the places right now that I want in shadow, I'm using this color right here. This is going to be under her chin, which I'm going to have a mixture between the purple and the crimson and a little bit of blue that's underneath. It's good to start out light with watercolors and work your way darker if you want to go darker. Add just a little bit of that purple in here. I'm actually going to try to get that really thick and blend it right here. Like that, and maybe a little bit right here. Gotta get more purple. Just kind of push it right there. So I'm starting out, like I said, very abstractly at first. I don't mind a few. I want just purposely doing a few strokes that are outside. I'm going to come back in and there we go. I want to come back in and get some of the pink. I'm going to kind of darken this up just a little bit on the edges right here. Bottom of the lip. Right, so I don't want to lose my underdrawing, so I want to make sure I keep that intact. I want this to kind of blend just a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and blow dry. It's a good time as any. I'll go ahead and cut out the blow drying parts. Make sure to move if it's light, move it out of the way. Anything light, move out of the way when you blow dry. I've always liked this look of like the simplicity of watercolors where they don't get too complex, where you can almost just do the eyes and mouth and stuff and be done with it right now, but I want to make it a little bit more detailed than that. I'm going to go ahead now and work with a darker color. That's going to be this purple here. I might even mix a little bit of purple and blue together right here. I don't like using black unless I have to, but this is the part you gotta be really careful to really make sure to preserve that white. Now if you have one of those pens used for watercolor, well it's used for a lot of things, for comic books and things like that, then you can use that. I can get even thinner lines than this. I have another brush that gets thinner lines than this, but this one gets pretty thin lines as long as I work really soft with it. It's got this little hair sticking out that I don't like. It's actually like really in there. There we go. So at this stage here, it's gotta dip your brush a lot. Let it dry. Move on to the next part. You'll build up several layers could get it darker and darker. Now I want my eyes to actually be this kind of blue color. This blue color right here. Just making sure I have enough water on there. Cool, looks like it's going to be the, I don't want it too wet. But I do want to add a little bit of this blue color into the eye. And those two little round dots I want to stay white. So anyway, there's different pen. I forget the name of the ballpoint pen, but it's really popular. And I haven't really worked traditionally for a while. I'm going to add a little bit of blue into the inside of the eye here. You can also add pink, but since the majority of hers will be pink anyway, these aren't traditional colors anyway. Add a little bit of blue around the bottom of the nose here. The edge. These aren't traditional colors I'm working with for anything. The whole thing is untraditional. I just really wanted to use these two main colors, but I need to add a little variety and variation. This is going to be the darkest part of the lips here. Add a little bit of darkness right in here. Now the lips I might go ahead and make more than one color. I'm not totally sure yet. So with watercolor, you know, a little goes a long way. I like again, I like this look. The look I'm going for with this particular piece is a very soft look like I have on my novel, which isn't something I paint. I mean, I repainted it digitally to give it the look that I wanted. It originally had the wrong colors and stuff, but anyway, it's my novel Bending Nature, a different kind of vampire novel. That's actually the full title of it, so it's what it's called. I'm trying to blend some of this here just to kind of give a little bit of color there, but not much. I'm trying to blend it. I need a really light color here. And sometimes all that takes is just keep adding water until you get it light enough, and then dabbing it. Anyway, it's that's the full title of the novel. It's on Amazon. It was a bestseller there for a while in its category, and it's called Bending Nature, a New Kind of Vampire Novel by Samantha Stone, not Neil Fontaine. So I used a pseudonym. The reason why I chose to use a pseudonym is because, well, obviously it's a female character, and then also my girlfriend's pseudonym is also Samantha Stone, so that was kind of cool. I want to add a little bit darker color right here on the edge of her face, just to really define that edge. I'm also going to define the shadow right here. I want all one solid color, so I'm trying to do it all in one stroke with this brush here. Now everything I'm using here is from Walmart, so you can actually get pretty decent results just using Walmart stuff. That's one of the things I wanted to show. I'm going to use a little bit more of this here. I want her lips to really be this kind of fuchsia color here. So I'm going to come back in here, add some more fuchsia. I'm being careful to leave the part that I wanted white. Again, once I get that pen, I can actually take this in digitally as well. Open up in my digital program and add some white back into it, but you can also do it with this cool pen once I get it. I just don't have it right now because I haven't worked with digital media or traditional media in a while. So I thought I had one of my white pens somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So anyway, it's like a white paint pen. You know, it's replaces what they used to use in the old days for comics, which was really just using a whiteout when they would make a mistake. So I like this blue. I'm going to add this. This is ultramarine. I'm going to add some of this blue into some of this here. I'm just making very, very distinctive, careful strokes in here. I don't want to overlap too much, but I do want to make sure that it has this look I'm going for, like so. Now I'm going to take some purple and I'm going to work it into her lips. So notice, because I'm working with such a little bit of paint, and I'm going to make this much thicker right now because I'm trying to get it really. Anyway, it dries fast, and so as long as I keep working around and moving around places, it allows me to come back without having to dry it with a blow dryer. Just adding a couple little dots here and there. Her eyeshadow is actually going to be abstract, kind of abstract shape, where it's kind of like that. So instead of individual eyelashes, you can see it's going to be kind of really wild looking, but I got to get thicker paint, which means I got to blow dry in here in a little bit because it's not totally dry yet. But you can see it's starting to take the main shape I wanted, which is I wanted this like thing in the middle, and then I wanted the hair to drip from the sides and then go outward like that. And let's go ahead and get some more of those drips in there before we blow dry again. So this here is going to be longer. Add more color right here. Add a big, there we go. Some parts here and there I want a lot of the color. Most of the part I want it to be really faint though. Let's make this strip come all the way down like this. Again, trying to keep it abstract. And this strip here is not going to be nearly as long, and the very outside drip over here is going to be the smallest, like so. Alright, cool. Everything's looking good. Be very decisive and instinctive when you're working with watercolor with your strokes. And sometimes the lightest of like just the smallest amount of color and just a little bit of water go a long way. You can really get some nice color work going. And anyway, I like this more abstract look. See, that's way too much paint. Yeah, there we go. I do want to retain some of this information that I had in here for the hair, but I want to be careful not to do too much. I want to keep it, again, abstract as possible as far as some of this goes. But I do want to be able to see some of the distinctions that I had in the drawing itself. So sometimes you got to dip the brush back in water again to make it work the way you want it to. I want to keep some of that purple violet in the way it mixed in there as well, though. So I'm trying not to get rid of that right now. Just trying to add a little bit of this detail here. Also, I'm trying to make sure I cover up the drawing because I don't want it's really hard to erase the under pencil. And so with some of that, I'm going to have to, I might use some of this ultramarine now. But anyway, some of that underpainting. Now I'm trying to pay attention more to that white so you can really see it come through. Anyway, the underpainting, mixing those two colors together. With under sketch, I don't want to come through, so I want to make sure I cover it up as much as possible. And that's where the white pins really come in handy too. You can go back where you want it, where you knew it was all white, you can come back and just make it white. So I don't want to overdo it. The main thing with watercolors for me, this isn't going to be true for everybody, is I don't want to overwork my watercolors. I like that loose look of the watercolor feel. And so I'm trying not to add too much detail. I'm not going for realism or anything like that. If I want to paint realism, I would use a different medium personally, like acrylics or oil. That's just me. Everyone's different. I just think that trying to keep that wet right there and get that line. There we go. I'm just trying to cover up my pencil work there. Yeah, I personally think that the look of watercolor is so cool by itself, and that kind of way it kind of like the uniqueness of watercolor. Like why, if I'm just trying to, I mean, it maybe some people just like prefer watercolor when it comes to, you know, getting that realistic look they're going for, and that's cool. But for me, I enjoy like what I like most about watercolor. What I'm going to try to say, what I like most about watercolor is how loose it is. I guess that's what I'm looking for. And if I try to, you know, overlap and layer colors so much to the point where I'm starting to, you know, get toward that realism, then I feel like I've destroyed, for me, the medium of watercolor, the beauty of what I love about watercolor, and that is its looseness. I really love that about watercolor. It's just so loose and looks really cool. So I'm adding some blue now here into the eyes right here before I add more detail. Make sure to retain that whiteness right there. And I'm trying to go around the edge here with a darker type, not darker, but just more blue. Just trying to build that up so I can get rid of that, the line work there. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to completely get rid of the line work. But that's alright, because I can do that later when I come back in with a with the white pen when I have it. Or I can, until I have the white pen, I can always come in digitally and do that. So it serves the same purpose. Alright, so it's starting to come through now. Whenever I make these kinds of strokes, I want to kind of come in with water and just kind of blend them a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and blow dry again now before I add more color. I definitely want to add a little bit of purple to her lips for the very darkest part of her lips. But for the most part, her face is pretty much done. In the eyes, I got to add a lot more darkness to her eyes, her eyebrows, which will be mostly purple and that ultramarine blue. Then I got to really come in here and make a distinction so you can really see how much the white is there. And I'm actually going to erase some of those lines right now because I want all this to be highlighted as much as possible. So I'm trying to erase the lines inside the highlight area. There we go. Alright, time to blow dry one more time. Alright, I'm going to put a little more, another layer of darker, well not darker, but I'm just going to layer this color a little bit more here, this kind of fuchsia color. Man, I wish I had my white pen. It'd be so cool. It just adds such a cool look to it. I wish I had it. But it really does add a cool look to everything. adding some drop shadow here. Notice as it got lighter, that's when I start adding this kind of drop shadow here to the nose. Now I'm trying to like edge that line in a little bit and blend it in. Alright, so now it's time to really go in here with this dark, dark purple. Try to really load my brush here with it. Can't make it too thick. I can't just go straight out of the tube, but I want it really thick. So I have this kind of outline in mind for her eyelashes. That's kind of like this abstract look. Like that. I'm going to take the bigger brush now. I'm going to take some of this color here. I'm just going to dab it right here. Just wanted to be abstract as it comes off the edges of the eyes here. Almost like it's coming out like that. I might even flick the pin a little bit, and then if there's places where I feel like it, it did it to where I didn't want it to do it, like right here, I kind of didn't want it on the face right there. I can kind of pick some of that up. A little bit of it will stay behind, which is fine. I definitely didn't want blue in between the nose right there, so I'm going to try to lift that up right now. If you work with really good paints and really good paper, you can actually lift up a lot. Alright, so it's starting to come through nicely, and the main thing is, I got to blow dry again, the main thing is that's hard right now is getting that purple. This isn't the best paint, and so it's hard to get it dark, and I don't want to have to use the black it comes with. So I'm thinking about mixing some of the primary red with it, and maybe that'll make it darker. See if it's dry enough now to... like so. Sometimes this is where it helps to have inks. Or some really good watercolors, or like I said, just inks, because inks will be dark. That's what I want. I want this to be dark, so, but that's alright. Good watercolors would come out darker. Make it easier to be dark, at least. So I'm trying to come in here now and add a little bit of shadow to the hair. Kind of find the individual strokes of hair coming down.
Again, I'm trying not to lose the looseness of the watercolor though by overdoing it. And really that's all about using enough water. But I do want those curls to come through. And this is where I'll also, like with this lighter blue color here, I'll come inside here and do just a slight, very, very thin layer inside the white. See where it kind of starts overlapping, acting like a very thin layer there inside the white, so it's not just such a abrupt change. And so a mixture of that kind of dark and light helps give me that look I'm looking for. But I definitely don't want to lose. I want definition, but I want too much definition. I want to try to keep it as extract as possible, but I want to try to keep where you can kind of see the curls of the hair coming out. Some of this right here, I feel like it's gotten a little bit too a little bit too detailed. So what I'm gonna have to do to fix that is add some of this colors mixed together, a bit more water. I'm gonna have to just add a couple areas in here that shows the changing of shapes. Don't know why I said it that way. Try to find the individual shapes of hair here. Hopefully without so I'm just trying to add a few, very, very few thin strokes here. Help define this curl a little bit. Twisting of shape. That's pretty good. This one here I want to keep much more, this side much more loose, this side a little more detail is what I'm going for. So now I either have to use colored pencils to really define the eyes, or I gotta try to continue using just a really, really thick application of this purple and blue mixed together, which is proving to be tedious. And not so easy. Again, I'm trying to make our makeup really abstract right here. So I'm not trying to make like individual lashes. I'm trying to make it more like shapes, like almost like blobs. But to where you can tell, hey, yeah, those are lashes. The person with a bunch of makeup on. Again, trying to just layer up transparency for the darker parts. It's starting to work out, I think. Now I'm going to start working in some individual layers here for the hair. I'm trying to keep it loose as well, so I'm trying not to get too, so that's too much. Sometimes it's always best to test the stroke on your paper towel. I definitely want everything except for the highlights to be a color though, so even if it's a very, very light blue color, it's gotta be a color. Add a little more water to this. And I'm just deciding on how much. Color and highlight's gonna be here. I also want to define each individual shape here. And I'm trying to get rid of the line work as well. I probably should have used even a lighter color, or just went lighter with my drawing. But I wanted you guys to be able to see it. So now I'm having to go a little bit darker than what I wanted to with the original piece here. So you can see the curls. So as long as each line is deliberate, and I kind of like make it thick and thin, then it still looks cool. So I'm still trying to keep it to where it's kind of a little bit abstract. Add a little more water here. Like that. On this side, I'm trying to stay away from using the purple at all, so I'm mixing a little bit of this ultramarine color to here. So now you can start to see those individual shapes kind of coming through here. Like so, and then I'm going to kind of come maybe all the way through, and I'm going to kind of connect those lines to show that they're curls. Alright, lastly, I think I'm going to use a little bit of this purple here now. I still want the eyes a little bit darker. I might blow dry it one more time. And then after I blow dry it one more time, maybe I'll go ahead and see if I can't get some sort of sorry, trying to focus here. After I blow dry one more time, see if I can't maybe get a little bit darker color out of there. If I have to, maybe using the colored pencil to go over it if it will. Notice how little it takes, so little to get color, and this might still be too. No, that should work actually. I was thinking it might be too bright, but I think it's fine. This is for some of the forehead shadow. So right now I'm just trying to like make this side darker, but also I'm trying to like add some variety inside the lighter areas. And I want a few really dark areas in here to really define individual shapes. I really like that, lock of hair right there, so I really want to define that. To keep my hand from touching the paper, I'm using my hand on my elbow here to hold it. That way I don't accidentally touch my hand on the paper. I think this is especially important when it's still wet, kind of. Right now I'm just trying to get rid of the lines of the sketch right now. Alright, let's see if it's dry enough to actually add a super dark purple here and see if we can't get this to work when it's really, really, really thick. As thick as we can go with watercolors at least. Looks like that's pretty much it right there. Alright, so I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to blow dry it one more time. I'll go ahead and fix the hair up a little bit here. On this side, just trying to add a few more clear shapes. And I want this side to be darker, so I'm going to add a little more purple. Maybe just a couple lines here to show that this is like lines of hair. Add a little more abstractness out there. In watercolor, I think less is more for me. It's going to be true for everyone, but just very couple little lines here and there. That's all I need to define that, hey, this is hair and it has shape. I'm not going to try to go and draw like every individual strand or anything like that. Right, so pretty much only thing that's left now is to get the eyes as dark as possible. And I'm trying to do that by really pushing this purple, but keeps wanting to mix. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and blow dry it one more time. See, I lost some of the color there. So we're just about done here. I'm going to see if I can't, let's see here, maybe use a little bit of a black pencil here. See if I can't just get this a little bit darker. Without destroying the look of the watercolor. Then I might go ahead and use a little bit of the purple color now. These are really cheap, same brand of, I used to have all kinds of Prismacolors and stuff. You know, Copic markers would be nice right here too. I'm just trying to really get this really dark and sold in here. Alright, there we go. So now the eyes really pop. Now, I really want those lips to pop too. And I want them to pop with that different color. So let me see if I have a smaller brush here. We'll go with the smallest one here. I really want to get this color right here. I want it to look more fuchsia It's crimson color. That's all about dilution, but I definitely want more red color like within the lips here. So I'm going to kind of go over all the lip, except for where the highlight is. Kind of blend those colors together there. This one I'm trying to be very careful to keep that white in there. I want the lips to pop more, so that's why I'm going especially on the edges. Try to really get it dark right here, really thick. Right there to really sell that. That color is there. The rest will you'll kind of read into it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this blue mixed with some purple and everything, and just kind of put that right in there. Now it's going to become like where her teeth would be, so it's not like white. I also want to take that exact same color, really it's a very, very mild color. I want to make sure, I got to test it first. And I'm going to add just a little bit inside the eye right here and here, just so the eye looks a little more 3D. Then I'm going to take that cadmium, or not cadmium, well, it's kind of like, I think it's like cyan. It's almost cyan. It's like I said, it's something that's between blue and cyan. It's called ceruleum. I think that's how it's said. I'm going along all the edge of the inside here, of the inside highlight with this color. Just kind of moving the color around on the inside here. Very light application. This is just so that the white has like a little bit of a blend to it, so it doesn't just go from one color to another, like right to white. It kind of blends the lighter color here. And I'm going to just keep adding water to that color because it doesn't need to be thick at all. Just very, very light amount of color. But enough to where it'll show up when it dries. So you can kind of see this transition between the colors here on the inside of that white highlight. And also I'm kind of adding just a little bit of shape to it as I do it. I might add a little bit of blue to this side of the eye right here. Kind of define its shape in the nose. Maybe just a tiny little bit more of this color here. Of the crimson, just very, very little. Test it out first. That should work. Inside that part of the nose right there. Kind of connect those two parts. Also want to connect the bridge. All this up here, I don't want none of that to be white. At least not pure white. Taking that same color here. Just kind of blend it down here. I'm also going to blend it over here just a little bit. There we go. And then I think the eyes and the mouth pop the most. That's what I wanted. This side of the hair pops a little bit more than the other side, which is good. And then finally, I think what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of this blue here, a little bit of this purple, a little more water. I want to make sure that I really define the edge of her chin there, and then kind of come down with some abstract shapes. or kind of just define some of this abstract shape in here and just kind of change it up. There we go. Make it a little bit darker that way. You have the eyes are dark, lips are dark, a little bit under here just to kind of define and frame the face. And you have this side dark over here, and I might add just a little bit of that darkness over here as well to the inside of the hair right there.